So we always with this in the healing of the Gadarene demoniac, and it's always funny to me that the people of that neighborhood, of that area, begged Jesus to go. You would imagine that they would say, "Please do that, do some more of that. We've got some other sick people here. Why don't you help them out?" But sometimes grace can disrupt our notion of what is, kind of what is real. And also, sometimes when God decides to act to save and to heal, we wind up losing stuff like a herd of swine. And it seems like the people in that neighborhood were more concerned about the property damage that Jesus caused than they were about the renewal and the healing of the demon possessed men. And often I think in some ways we can fall into the trap of asking, before we really commit ourselves to Jesus, asking what it might cost us, or in some ways saying, "Boy, I wish I could have that back." Instead of rejoicing in the new thing that Jesus is doing in us. Augustine famously said, "Lord, grant me chastity, but not yet." And there's a way in which we can resist God's power breaking into our lives because we're afraid of losing something that's precious to us, something that we rely on. And in some, even if it's a herd of swine, it's still our herd, and that's how that's what we know to do. But we're called to let that stuff get thrown into the sea, and as Paul would say in his letter to the Philippians, let it be counted as rubbish for the sake of knowing Jesus Christ, our Messiah, and our Jesus Christ as our Lord. And so whatever that, I kind of invite you to consider in your prayers, what is that herd of swine in your life that you need to allow Jesus to send off the cliff and into the sea, never to come back again? And what, in a sense, what is the wholeness that the herd of swine in your life, that possession or that pattern in your life that is familiar, is comfortable, but losing that is, and it may be familiar, comfortable, and horrible, but losing it is too scary to contemplate. Say, "Leave me alone, Jesus. Just I don't touch that. I can't do without that." I invite you to identify that in your life and be willing to let it go, as Jesus says, "Go, be gone." Let Jesus take that thing away so that you can enter into a new relationship with Jesus, one of healing and wholeness, and that you can really start, in a sense, instead of being in the tombs with the swine, you can be in with our Lord and in a new creation, a new life with Him. A reading from St. Matthew's Gospel. When Jesus came to the other side, to the country of the Gadarenes, two demoniacs coming out of the tombs met him. They were so fierce that no one could pass that way. Suddenly they shouted, "What have you to do with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" Now a large herd of swine was feeding at some distance from them. The demons begged him, "If you cast us out, send us into the herd of swine." And he said to them, "Go." So they came out and entered the swine, and suddenly the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea and perished in the water. The swineherds ran off, and on going into the town, they told the whole story about what had happened to the demoniacs. Then the whole town came out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they begged him to leave their neighborhood. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.